So the guessing game that we just messed around with, right? This is where we left off with the while loops, right? So there's one of these that would be a great candidate for a for loop, right? And it's this one here, where we're keeping track of the total tries, and we have an external number. It's a little clunky. So we can get rid of this, and we can say for int try in range 3. And what I actually would say is 1 comma 4, because we're going to use that here, and we don't want to say try number 0. And I can take that, and that's a much cleaner way of doing that rather than establishing that variable ahead of time and then checking to see if it works or whatever. Now, total tries, that's lovely music. Total tries, right, is still defined up here. And if I want to use that, I would say int total tries plus 1 to account for that range. So I can still use this variable to set how many tries, so that if I wanted to have a game where I did between 1 and 50 and I gave 5 tries, then I could do that. Oops. But only if I run the correct. I don't want to debug that. And I'm just kind of trigger happy here. There we go. So now I've got try number 1 of 5 between 1 and 50. Can I guess the number? It's too low, so it's got to be halfway between that is about 38. Guess too high. So now we know it's between 25 and 38. So we'll go 30, which is roughly the middle there. Too high, so it's between 25 and 30. I've got 2 tries left. So we'll go 27. Nailed it. So, by the way, that algorithm is, you could teach a computer to play the game using that algorithm, and it would have the greatest chance of guessing the correct number in no matter how big the number is, no matter how many guesses you get, it gives it the best chance of guessing that number, interestingly enough. So that's a great way. That's a great use of a for loop. In fact, this way is much better because int try only needs to be used inside that loop. You don't care about int try outside that loop. That's the only place it matters. And it's self-contained. I don't have to worry about incrementing that anymore, right? So this needs to go away. I don't need to worry about that. It just manages itself. There is no having to increment it, having to check it, managing all of this stuff. It's just clean and simple. And anytime you have a choice between complicated and simple when you're using Python, remember that Zen of Python that I showed you? Always choose simple. Save yourself work. It'll make debugging easier too later on. When we get into debugging, that is. So that's a scenario where you'd want to use a for loop because you've got a defined number of times you want to do it. You want it to be simple and self-contained. It's really, really good.